led by Lord Jesus Christ to help bring others to him, so that we may be ready for his return for us faithful, who believe on him for our salvation.
Good evening, good morning, wherever you may be. This is Ms. Marlowe, otherwise known as Jen on the Rocks, Fearless Christian Radio. Just doing things a little differently this evening, and it is just past 11 p.m. on the eastern part of the United States of America. And I hope you can hear me just fine. Hopefully no echoing, or sometimes I find that it echoes, but anyway, I just want to, kind of say, I titled this tonight, The Importance of What We Do. And although I have, like so many others, got caught up with the thought that, yes, our Father in heaven, God, He forgives us when we ask Him to. And to save us too, when we ask Jesus into our hearts. And yes, that's true. However, it's not okay to continue in sin. There's so much to explore in this, and nobody likes to hear that. We like to think that it's okay, some of us, to just do what we want to do. Or if we make mistakes, like maybe we don't want to do the wrong thing, but we just keep making the same mistake over and over and over, finding ourselves entangled in our old sins or something like that. Or maybe we just kind of, just lost our way somehow. It doesn't mean that we're not His. When we ask to get back on track, He does help us, and that is something I've asked. I've had a question for Him, for God, for a while, and He's been answering. He's been telling me, He's been giving me answers, and so I just want to read. And here we go. In John 13:34-35, Jesus said, "A new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." There was a time when as a smoker of cigarettes, when I had first started doing that in my youth, I never wanted, and in fact, for a long time, I did not smoke around other people my age and younger, because I did not want to trip them up. I did not want them to think that it was okay to do. I knew that it was not okay for me. But then eventually I got slack. I got lazy in my habit, my poor habit. As it grew and grew, it got to where I was just very slack and lazy and trying to hide it from younger folks. And as I aged, the younger others got, And so, I was reading in 1 Corinthians recently, and I still want to finish. And it's not that it was the first time I ever read it, but let's face it, when we read something over and over, finish it and put it down and pick it back up, whatever we were going through, it pops out to us at that time. And just want to read something here. And so, 1 Corinthians, there's so much about this. It happens to be about not defiling ourselves. And let's see here. Actually, in chapter 3 of 1 Corinthians 16 and 17, know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy, for the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. And then it continued, in verse 18, let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. And also, where is this? In chapter 7 of 1 Corinthians, verse 23, ye are bought with a price. Be not ye the servants of men. You know, it really got me thinking, is it really important what we do? I mean, yes, sure, I've been through a lot. Some people, as myself, get a little tired and grow weary. And over time of trying to do the right thing, especially when we suffer from certain like bipolar or impulsiveness, whether it be because of anything, ADHD, just anything can be, or just anything that causes impulsiveness, and it's hard to stay consistent in decisions. And I might stop a habit, but then I pick it back up again the next whim of the next mood that comes along. I do suffer a mood disorder, so that's an example right there. So, but I really wondered just today how, how it's time to make a decision. God never promised it was going to be easy. I mean, sure, I can ask Him to gently remove things from my life, like poor habits. And He might make it easy for me, He might not. But He never said, hey, it's going to be easy for any of us. It's a matter of making a decision and biting the bullet, so to speak. That's an older term. I'm just saying that it is getting down to the nitty gritty and putting some elbow grease into it. We sure have gotten lazy. I really think we've gotten lazy. I mean, and I know I have grown tired and lazy. I think somewhere in Proverbs, God tells us that the lazy person won't even put the spoon up to their mouth to eat. And doesn't Jesus ask us to eat and drink of Him? To take Him in? And I love digesting His Word. It feeds my soul. And He feeds my soul. And so what I'm trying to say is, have I gotten so lazy that I won't even, put them to my mouth to eat and drink of them? You know what I'm saying? So, so I got to thinking the importance of what we do. Some people have this down pat, no problem. But people like me, it just takes a while longer. It's just easier for some and harder for others. Depending on who they are, where they come from, and so forth, or where they come from. And so, but what if we don't know how to follow Jesus yet? Well, He tells us in Matthew 7:7 to ask. In fact, I'm going to turn to that. It's really beautiful. Matthew 7. Don't mean to skip around, so much for people who like to just read one passage at a time. It just all goes together. Ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you, whom if his son ask bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? So, why not ask, how? How do I follow you? And then he'd very well answer. Wouldn't be surprised if it's in his word. I've really let my mind get lazy, and maybe some of you out there are going through the same thing. I don't know. I mean, there might be people listening who go, how dare she go through that? I wouldn't do that. Who knows? I don't know. I have really been like a fish swimming upstream, and a lot of that was my own decision. So yes, the importance of what we do, there is importance of what we do. If making good choices creates good consequences, then why not in other areas of our lives? I want to read something here. Of course. Make every effort to add to your faith goodness, and to goodness knowledge, and to knowledge self-control. That right there, self-control. And that is added, after knowledge. So make every effort to add to your faith goodness, and to goodness knowledge, and to knowledge self-control. And to self-control perseverance. See? Doesn't that mean we get to practice our self-control? Does it mean that if I say, hey, I've stopped a bad habit, that doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to be perfect after that. And if I'm able to just stop, then great. Some people can. Other people, some of us, it just takes practice. So, and to perseverance, godliness, and to godliness, brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness, love. For if you possess these qualities in increasing measure, they will keep you from being ineffective and unproductive in your knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. That's 2 Peter 1, verses 5 through 8. Chapter 1, by the way. And just below this, in Galatians 6:2, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. We're to help one another and to love one another. And in 1 Corinthians 13, we're told what love is. And so here we go. 1 Corinthians again. 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, which is love, I am become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffers long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth. And it continues. And that's what love is. We just be kind to one another, patient, and even be those things with ourselves. sometimes I just feel like maybe I'm just being way too harder on myself, or way, less patient than God is with me. I'm not saying that means run amok and just to just do whatever I want. In fact, wrong things, I don't even want to do wrong things. And yet, I don't know how else to put it. I don't, but hopefully somebody out there understands, and maybe this has helped somebody, that yes, it is important what we do. And so I've made a decision. I have apologized and asked forgiveness for those out there who probably don't understand, because in their minds, it might be okay to, do certain things, I mean, you know how it is with Christians and non-Christians. You go to them and say, hey, this was really wrong of me. And they're like, what are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with that. Well, God says there is. So, I have in my hand right now a smooth stone inscribed with the words "Forever Friends." Now, I am not superstitious. I simply really enjoy this stone because it reminds me how Jesus Christ and I are forever friends. And He is my love. And so, once in a while, I just like to hold this smooth stone with this inscription that we're forever friends. He is forever my Lord, and He is my love. And I want to treat Him as such. So, and I think this wraps things up for the night. Yeah, it is important what we do. Maybe it just took a while for me to understand some things, and it does. It does not mean so much. It does not mean that, that we can earn our way to heaven, to be with God by our by good works. No, He does tell us that we're saved by grace, not by works. Just saying that. Think about it. I mean, if you're a believer, and I'm a believer, how does that even tie in as a believer to continue doing the wrong thing, especially when we know it's wrong? It's time to get back to our love, Jesus Christ, and just do the right thing. I've heard it said, just do the next right thing. And we have Him to help us. Surely He'll help us to do what He would want us to do. Alright, well, thank you for joining this evening. This is Ms. Marlowe at Gin on the Rocks. I haven't quite settled on a name. I don't know yet, but we'll talk about that another time. It's okay. It's okay. Alright. But thanks for joining. And until next time, enjoy your blessings. Good night.